Hey there, and welcome back. It's Catherine from the Unboxed Advisors YouTube and Facebook page. Strategic planning is not just one thing that you're going to do for your business one time of year. This is an activity that is ongoing. It is interwoven into your company and into your organization. So let me break down for you how strategic planning really works for you and your business at that global scale. If you enjoy this content, go check us out at Unboxed Advisors on our YouTube page. We've got oodles of other content for you. And go visit us on LinkedIn, where we post twice a week on the hottest tips that you need to know about. All right. So when it comes to strategic planning, typically we think about this being something that we do in Q4 of every year. But that's only the planning part for the next year upcoming. So if you've never done strategic planning before, I want you to picture when you were a little kid and go-karts, but not like the go-karts that zipped around freely, but like the go-karts, or I remember going to Cedar Point as a little kid and having the antique cars, and you could drive these antique cars, and with them there was this guardrail that went around the course. So as little kids were driving this vehicle, yes, they were moving forward, but there was this guardrail that was helping you really visualize that as I bring up this next topic. So let's say from a strategic planning perspective, when we pop into our vehicles, Google Maps is something that is very natural for a majority of us to pop on, especially if it's someplace that we've never been before. So when you're talking about a strategic plan, what you're doing is you're essentially connecting yourself to business Google Maps. You're being very clear and honest with yourself and with your organization of where you are today, where you are in the business today. And then you're also putting in that destination for Google Maps or for your strategic planning, that destination of where you want to be. Now, maybe it is, in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, but you get the gist. So with that, you hop into the vehicle, you put on Google Maps. Google Maps is that strategic planning. And we all know that as you're, driving along in Google Maps, it'll tell you, oh, traffic ahead, speed trap ahead, construction ahead. It'll give you like little warnings and pings along the way. So with a good strategic plan, you're also going to get those things. And that's through tracking measurables, KPIs, all of that good stuff is designed to be your like bing, 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 your alerts on your Google Maps. All right. So who's driving this thing? It's often the visionary who is driving this vehicle. They're behind the wheel. They can see all of the little instruments. They've got their check engine light, their low fuel, very high level tools at their disposal. And they're using Google Maps or the strategic plan as just that, a plan. However, we all know that with any good road trip or with any good visionary, there is often, a little detour here or a little unexpected here and yada yada. So your driver of this vehicle is the visionary, and anyone who has worked for a true visionary or has done business with the true visionary knows that they are pedal to the metal. They are fast and furious. They want to get to their destination as quickly as possible. Now let's talk about the vehicle that we're in. The vehicle that we are in represents the business. Financials can represent the engine. We could also, say something along the lines of how comfortable the ride is your infrastructure, your standard operating procedures. How new is the vehicle? And, that's the other item. Like, do you need routine maintenance? Did you just get it off the shelf and it's good to go? So your business is your vehicle. And for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially, who we work with, where you've got a ton of different avenues and income streams and all of these different things coming at you, the business or the vehicle is just the means to go from point A to point B. That's it. It is the thing that helps you fuel your personal mission to get from one destination to another. So that's really the business when we're talking about working with entrepreneurs. It is merely just the vehicle for them to get to from point A to point B. Now, the guardrail, we got to back up and talk about this guardrail. The guardrail is typically the person who owns the strategic plan, who the person who has put it together, is accountable for what happens in and outside of the strategic plan. And with that, that guardrail, interestingly enough, has already gone ahead of the vehicle, right? That guardrail, that infrastructure is already totally mapped out for the vehicle to come right behind it. So when we're talking about strategic planning, we're also talking about the magic makers and the forward thinking and the forward planning that it takes to help you get your vehicle all the way to that destination. Another metaphor that I would use, not even just metaphor, but I love documentaries. Okay, side tangent, love documentaries. And one of my favorite documentaries is about climbing Everest. And I had no idea how this whole thing worked, but when you're going to climb Everest, you have to acclimatize yourself, which means you have to go up to certain elevations and come back down, go up to certain elevations and come back down. Well, in order to climb Everest, which is a huge, big business, you have to have all of these different camps set up along the mountain. And now these mountain climbers who are paying all of this money, who have gotten the permits, who have hired teams, who are climbing Everest, they're not the ones who are setting the ropes and setting the ladders and bringing up oxygen tanks to these different camps. There's individuals called Sherpas, and these Sherpas, or the team of Sherpas, are the people who are responsible for going ahead and fixing the ladders and putting new ropes on every year, taking the old ropes off, and clearing the way. And they are putting the oxygen tanks there. They're on the radio and they're communicating, and they are going ahead of the vehicle to ensure that when climbers get to their next camp, the food tent is there. The food is there. Their extra supplies that they're going to need, the extra things that they are going to need to get to the next camp are there. All those comforts are there. And it's crucial that those supplies are there ahead of the team. So when the team gets there, they have everything that they need. If that team was to arrive without everything they need at the next camp, they wouldn't be able to move forward, and they wouldn't be prepared for where they are today. So that is where the magic makers, Sherpas, your operational people, that strategic accountability is really in that Sherpa, or that guardrail, that mechanism that is forging ahead and is setting out all of the success items and tools that you will need along the way. Okay, all right, real life business example would be, have you ever done a data migration where you are taking information from one platform and putting it into another platform? Typically, you have individuals on your team who are leading that charge. They've identified the problems of your current platform, the issues, what's holding you back. They've identified a new platform that provides those solutions, that ticks off most of those boxes. And they are responsible for getting the new platform ready to go, migrating the data, coordinating training, playing with the system, and getting it completely customized, or at least the puzzle, the edges are done, and then they invite the rest of their team to join them on this new platform. So strategic planning can take many forms, but overarching, we're talking about coming up with a plan for your business, so your Google Maps, really hard to tell Google Maps where you're going if you don't know where that destination is. That we have the driver, that visionary, they are behind the wheel. They can see at a very high level all of their tools, the tire pressure. They can see the fuel, the check engine light. They can make the inside of the vehicle a little bit more comfortable with the controls. They're still not a mechanic. They're still not an engineer. They're not responsible for knowing all the nuts, the bolts, the little minute details, but very high level. You've got the vehicle that is the business. It is merely the engine revving, the visionary or the driver to get from one place to another. And then your strategic plan is the forging ahead. It is the pre-planning. It is taking all of that into account, going ahead, putting out the supplies and tools that you're going to need, also being that coal mine or that canary in the coal mine who is, going to be sounding those alarms when things are not going right and be able to come up with a plan with alongside, your Google Maps in order to put it all together. So when you are thinking also about your strategic plan, it all really comes down to money and to the advisors that you are getting into your ecosystem. So as you're putting together a strategic plan, it's so important that you share that plan with your employees, of course, your business partner, even your spouse. Share these plans with all the advisors and all of the vendors that you invite in to your entrepreneurial ecosystem, because when everyone is very clear about the vehicle, who's driving, where we're going, how we're going to get there, everyone, including your outside vendors, are able to come right around you and help you go further and faster. If you've enjoyed today's content, please give us a thumbs up and share this video with other individuals who really need to hear how strategic planning can be a total game changer in your small business. I'm Catherine from Unboxed Advisors, and I will see you in the next video.